Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to share with you my thoughts on the WNBA standings as of 8/22/23. I already did this video 9 days ago, but I'm going to do it again because there's some new updates here. So, Las Vegas Aces are 29-4 in first. They are 3.5 games ahead of the Liberty. But even if the Liberty were to win, the next game would be 30. It would be 3. But in order to be tied for the best team in WNBA history in a single season, winning percentage-wise, they would need to be they would need to win every single one of their games. You'd have to. As the best was 27-3. I believe it was by the Comets. Liberty are second with 25-7. I mean, the Aces did have the fluke loss to them. They had lost once to the Sun, but the Sun were really unfair that game. They had a close loss to Dallas, but with Kelsey Plum out, so that's understandable. And they just had a loss with the Vegas, which Asia was not feeling herself, and they just couldn't make a shot after, you know what I mean? In the fourth loss. This to Sparks, which was a huge shock. Which is the worst big shock. It's a shock. A really fluke upset. But the Aces are still controlling their own destiny for first place. I mean, so. And the best the Liberty can do is 33 wins. And the best the Aces can do is 36. So. But the Liberty do have potential to lose another game. But we'll see. So do the Aces though, because they're playing Liberty and Berkeley, but we'll see if that changes. The Aces, do win. The Sun, I don't see the Sun getting second, but you never know. I mean, it could happen, but I just don't see it. But I don't see where the Sun get the second. I don't see where the Sun get the follow the fourth either. Dallas is 18-15. I mean, yeah, I see Dallas. I think Dallas, the best Dallas can get is fourth. I don't see them getting anywhere past fourth. But still it's still a good improvement compared to last season. Last season they were they the 6? Yeah, they were the 6. 6 against the Sun. No? Really? Oh yeah, they were. They were 6. Against the Sun in the first round, so. But then then Atlanta, Minnesota is really close. I honestly do think Atlanta is better than Minnesota. Minnesota's to open on Minnesota can have a game where they get blown out by 30. They can have a game where they're really competitive. And even Atlanta against Vegas with Asia having 53 points and tying the WNBA record for most points for a single game. Minnesota's still Atlanta was still able to keep it somewhat competitive, pretty competitive, by a 12-point loss only. Minnesota played the East and they lost by 30, so at home, so we'll see, Minnesota's bad in games, they win games. The Dallas game they played, they're horrible in that one. And they almost blew the loss against Dallas this time, so I could see Dallas exploiting that. Washington Mystics, they look better, against Connecticut, but they did lose to Connecticut. That was close, so. And Mystics, you do not want to see the Mystics in the playoffs. The Mystics are going to be, their seed's going to be, their seed might be low, a 7 or an 8 or something like that. I don't know if it's going to be 8, but it could be a 7. But they're going to be, wherever their seed is, they're going to be, undervalued, I could definitely see them. Because they had no, they had no Shakira Austin. They had no Ariel Atkins. Was it Ariel Atkins? Let me see, or was it Christy Tolliver? No, they had no Christy Tolliver. Yeah, Shakira Austin, Ariel Atkins. And then they had, no, Christy Tolliver, or they still no Christy Tolliver and no Lane Dawson. But in this game against the Sun, but they did have Shakira Austin and Ariel Atkins playing close to 20 minutes. So that's a positive sign there for the Mystics. And I think if they can reacclimate Ariel Atkins and Shakira Austin, and the more they feel comfortable, the more minutes they can get. As long as they can get a good solid amount of minutes. If they would have played probably a few more minutes, maybe they would have been healthy. Or maybe they would have won, but you know what? Either way, though, they were really competitive with Connecticut. And just one of those toss-up games, where you think, or they could have won. Even if they were, maybe if they were, So, it's can't blame them, no one. They were down the wire competitive, so. No. The Sparks. For the Sparks, just to even get into the playoffs, that would be an amazing sight to see. Just for them getting into the playoffs. Honestly. I would love that. Just for them to even get into the playoffs. Because, the Sparks are one of those teams that, ever since they've hit their championship runs, and they've been tanking ever since, pretty much. They haven't been the same team. So for them even just to get start of something, with Kurt Miller, for them to not be a lottery team, them to be an 8 seed. They could still be a lottery pick this year, because this draft is pretty screwed up though. This season, Indiana, Phoenix, you're gonna have BM lottery teams again, most likely, but you're not gonna have top 4. But you're not gonna have Seattle. Probably won't be a top 4 though, just because how good they were. The record was last season. The Chicago, probably not, because the record last year was pretty good. The Sparks, they actually might be a lottery team this year, even though they made the playoffs, because of the record last year and the record this year. It's not It's better compared to last year, but it's still not like nothing amazing. And you could have Atlanta or Minnesota, because based off 2-year period, and whoever whoever ends up, what I mean, like two of them two making a lot, and so it's crazy, But anyway, let's get to the Spurks. The Spurks, they're gonna be a tough challenge for whoever faces them. And that's for Vegas Aces. And Vegas, lost them lost them at home. So Spurks, if they stay where they are at, competitive in games at least, and if they start to get hot in games, watch out. The Aces could it, the Spurks could actually make some noise and beat the Aces. Well, I mean, maybe in one. I don't see the Spurks winning 2 out of 3 though. But I could see the Spurks actually making it competitive in the series against the Aces, at the very least. Chicago could make the 8th seed. I mean, they had like James Wade, and they had some last season 2022, and they had some good pieces. So good, not pieces, but like something. I mean, it's kind of like robot. So most of the point, same pieces, but some good players. The cream of the crop players like Stephanie Dolson. I mean, Clay Copper is really good, but you can't ask for players around. You need players that could, that are paired together. And it's a good pair, a good pairing. And now they just have like Isabel Harrison's been out pretty much the whole year almost. Pretty much. You have like James Wade's gone. You have basically Clay Copper, Marina Mabry. And you have like some young talent. Like Dana Evans. You have some raw young talent like Dana Evans. You have Lana Smith. You have, who's that? I can't remember who I'm thinking of, but and you have an Ozzy on that team. I know you do. Maybe that. I believe I can't remember who I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. But you have some like Dean Evans, like Keanu Trainer. You have Courtney Williams. You have a couple people who played a little bit in the WNBA, and then you have some players that haven't played a lot in the WNBA. Some like raw kind of. Almost like, I mean, they have their own like games from playing overseas or in college, but you can kind of like shape them. You know what I mean? Kind of, like once they get used to it, they can shape their games kind of around like the team needs, I guess, kind of. Innocent. It's whatever team they're playing on. Kind of innocent. They can. Decent or maybe teams maybe. So we'll see. Seattle. I don't see Seattle like getting ranked. I just don't see it. I mean, this is gonna. This is a tough rebuilding year. And Noah Quinn, it's nothing to do with Noah Quinn. Noah Quinn's like a great coach. It's just hard when you have like they've had like they have no Rancer, no Suber, and really kind of carrying the team. And then you have Ezzy, and you still have a few. Like you still have good players, but they're just like like not the cream of the crop players. Like Keener's been in and out, of teams, kind of lineups lately, recently in like seasons. Like, I mean, you have Sammy Whitcomb. You have just some like you have Rasheed Russell. You have just like Steph Talbot. You have like raw talent, not like not like too raw, because like obviously like Steph Talbot, Sammy Whitcomb are on the Australian women's national team for basketball. Olympic, what I mean? Olympics and World Cup team. And if they do like, like they do like practice games, like scrimmages, friendlies, whatever you call it. We want to call it like practice games essentially against other teams. I mean, they probably still do, but they're not really televised in any of them really too much. But yeah, they're good. They just got raw kind of. When you got Keeners, like I said, in and out. You got like talent that's okay, but I mean, you got good players. I mean, they're good players. There's not like they're not just gonna like win you a championship. You kind of need to develop that. You need to find like a player or two that's good, And Gabby Williams been hurt. And she came back, so you can get some raw talent. You can get some like player you can get some players in the draft like to develop in the WNBA, or you can get players that like might make a good impact like immediately out of college, stuff like that. Or or you can get a couple pieces in the draft in like free agency, It's all gonna depend, what happens, You just need something. I mean, you could just like keep the same roster eventually to get chemistry with each other. I think there's missing like a piece or two away for being more so competitive. You know what I mean? I think. I mean, same with like Chicago and like Los Angeles. They're like a piece or two away from being They're a couple pieces away probably from being like ultra competitive. I mean, the Sparks are getting better, so maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just injuries again reacting to each other. And just need time to develop this team. Maybe you might send a piece or two, but Mystics just injuries. Minnesota's good. They're just inconsistent in AP aerial powers. Like there's injuries in basically getting rid of aerial powers. You basically have to get rid of aerial powers. Or find somewhere else, whether it's draft talent, whether it's finding some like kind of like some steals in draft, like Dorothy has, or something like that, or finding someone that what I mean. Because that's what they're gonna have to do. They're not gonna be able to, like, if they don't get the lottery, they're not gonna be able to find some like a Diamond Miller. They're not gonna be able to. So they're gonna definitely need like a steal in the draft. But Cheryl Reed knows how to do that. Knows how find that. So Atlanta's good. There's injuries. Like injuries, kind of. Same with Dallas, just like injuries. Dallas is good. Don't get me wrong. There's still a team way there, but there's. They've been Dallas been a little nicked up here and there. Not horrible. Atlanta has been nicked up as of lately. So, I mean, I feel like Atlanta could be a little bit better. Like, the injuries probably, if they had injuries throughout the season, if they didn't have them, they might be a little bit better. Minnesota's just up and down, once they find that consistency and get consistent, they can be good, once they get consistent, Washington with other injuries, yeah, they'd probably be at least 3 or 4, maybe 5, but they'd at least be contending for probably 3, 5, maybe 3, they'd probably be 3 or 4. I could see that. Phoenix, yeah. There's like injuries, like weird injuries with Brittany Griner and Diane Taurasi. They had some players like that they have. All their talent is young and raw talent. Like they have like pretty raw talent. They have like raw talent. Like you can see like Sophie Cunningham, Liz Dixon, like Megan Gustafson, Mariah Jefferson. I mean, the only players that played, Mariah Jefferson played a little bit with Dallas and Minnesota. I mean, Michaela Underwood played a little bit with the Liberty, but she didn't really get, get like a ton of, she got like okay, decent time, but she didn't like, it's hard, when you play 1 year under like a coach, and then that coach leaves, and then you play a second year under a different system. How the coach went. That coach, different coaches have different personalities. So, and if they want to play, play different styles, or like that coach adapts their style of play to fit you, So you're learning that on the fly. And then you just have players that haven't played a lot, like Sophie Cunningham played a little while, but she hasn't ever since their finals. They had one good season in the finals. That was with Skylar and everyone healthy. Was it 2021? Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. They had Sophie, they had Skylar, but Skylar's not been. Last couple years they have no Skylar. They have no Brittany Griner last year. It's like I kind of want to see you with with Skylar, Brittany, Diana, and then when Brittany and Diana were both injured. Diana Taurasi was injured. Man, you have to play kind of raw. You have to do no Skylar. You have to do Sophie, Megan Gustafson, Mariah Jefferson, Michaela Underwood, and maybe Brianna Turner or something like that. They're not bad players, but there's not gonna be super competitive, team. You just gotta have, consistency. They've had injuries, hardship contract. You need consistency. You just need consistent team. No players in all lineups. You just need and you just need your full team back. I don't mind having the bench. I just want to see them how they are with a full team with Skylar, Diana, if Diana plays next year, Brittany, and those players have another year of experience in the WNBA, and then if they go overseas, those players that go overseas will even play in another off-season league. How they'll get growth, And then Indiana's good. Indiana's good. They're just kind of a raw talent team, another raw talent team. like Indiana really is, you know. Like you got Grace Berger, Leah Boston, which were young. I mean, they're good players. There's, you know, it's not like experience in WNBA. You got come on, not a lot of WNBA experience. McKinnon has some. Has some. He doesn't have like a ton, but has some. And you know, she's been kind of bounced around, I believe. I don't believe she's playing the Fever all her whole career. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Undrafted, yeah. Lexi Hall, yeah, he hasn't played a lot. Kelsey Mitchell's played a good bit for the Fever all season. A bit of years. 5, so I mean, look. It's Victoria 6, Alyssa Smith hasn't played it. Victoria Vivian's only played a few seasons, 4. Erica Wheeler's probably played the most, yeah, like 7. Zoe B has like been bounced around a bunch. I mean, she's been bounced around a ton. Christy Wallace, she's played in 1 season. Which is kind of crazy, you know. This is her. She played 1 year in 2018, then she got drafted, then she played last year with Atlanta, and then she played this year with Indiana, so it's like a bunch of players that don't have a lot of WNBA experience, you know. Like, this is like a really raw team. Like, you know, like, it's not like something where you can develop their skill sets. I mean, you can, like, you know, like, mold their skill sets. But you can kind of almost, like, give them, like, a role. Like, here you do this, you do that. And, like, they really focus in on that, you know. You know what I mean? They could. Or they just be open to doing anything, you know, kind of. Be more versatile. Too. But there's raw talent, you know, like they just need like more, like they just kind of need like games, like more experience, more, you know, kind of, in a sense. Like they can build like a team like they could just be a team that's like, you know, just needs more consistency, you know, like just more time together. They could trade away a couple of the players, or and like get some good players in like the draft that are maybe better than some players they got, and you know, like do that. But they could also probably more just rebuild, you know, like organically through draft or trades or something like that, or you know, free agency, like players leaving, and they just seek to request trade. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know, just kind of like raw. Like they just need more experience. Like when I say raw talent, I just think need more experience. More so. So Las Vegas is gonna probably stay right there, I think. New York probably will too. Connecticut, you know, might, you know, I don't think they'll fall 3. I think Connecticut will stay over there. Dallas and Atlanta, I think they could fight for the 4 or 5. So could Minnesota, if Minnesota becomes more consistent. I think they could contend for the 4 or 5. Washington, if they get like if Ariel can Shakira Austin implement it back in the lineup, I think, you know what I mean. They could, you know, get some more playing time and get more acclimated back to playing in games, and they'll start winning some more. Because if once they get fully back to being fully acclimated and get these end of these, I think just the Washington Mystics the best for them. I mean, maybe not necessarily. They don't need to necessarily. They just need to stay afloat enough to make the playoffs. Because once they get like, even if you know, what I mean, once they get those area can Shakira and fully back, they'll be used to it. And then they might get Delgado or Rusty Talbot back before the playoffs. And if they do, if they get those players, at least play a game or two before the playoffs. They can at least get a look at something. Well, something, in the play. For the playoffs. You know what I mean? So it's just a bunch of injuries for Washington. But they're going to be like their records, they're actually going to indicate how good they are. Los Angeles, they're okay. They're okay with Kurt Miller. Kurt Miller's trying something new, so it's going to take some time for him to build a system and accept the team the way he likes it. That's understandable. Chicago, with their new coach coming in, like a fill-in coach. Is that coach going to be the coach next year, or are they going to have a new coach? Entirely new system they've had, you know what I mean? And learn the new coach's game, the first coach, and the players around it, and that style they're playing, and then their new coach might put a new style in, follow the same one, and then you know what I mean? Seattle, they just need time to, they just need a few more pieces, or just time to build, it's time to play together more, Phoenix, they just need maybe a few more pieces, or just time to or really they just need a full healthy team. Everyone back, Skylar back. Is Skylar going to come back next season, or is that Dan Trozzi and Brittany going, or who's going to be there next year? Is Dan when they're going to return? They kind of just need to know their identity, because you know what I mean. Diana could return almost any season, anytime. Skylar going to leave, or Skylar going to come back? You don't know. And they might be left with Brittany Griner, but just Brittany Griner, just a bunch of. They just need to know, what their actual rebuild, if their actual rebuilding is looking like, or Brittany Griner, Dan Trozzi, Skylar, all three of them are going to be together and be able to contend for a better, at least playoffs, because they did playoffs with Skylar and Diana. So I think maybe they could at least get both Brittany and Diana both out, injuries. I kind of hurt them a little bit to contend for playoffs, at least if one of them was in, one or two was in, maybe they'd be a little bit more, but maybe they'd be able to squeak a few more runs. That one. Yeah, they just need to know when, what their what their rebuild's gonna be like. Their true rebuild's gonna be if Diana retires, or if Skylar leaves, or if both Diana, if Diana retires and Skylar leaves, And Indiana just needs maybe a few more pieces, or just, but frankly, more just time to develop mostly. Because it's the really young team. All the players they're about most experienced players, 7 years. They have a few with 4 or 5 seasons, and then they have some with Christy Wallace and NBL experience, which is Australian League experience, and college experience. They played at Baylor for a few seasons. In college, so knowing the American game, but doesn't really, it's kind of one of those things where it's you just need more experience together. So, so that's about it. So, next time, take care.